most ministries and most state governments are doing it. The last national e-governance plan was more than about 15 years ago. We had mission mode projects that sort of gave an approach which has caught on, and many states and many ministries are now doing their own thing in this area and have large programs which really work for them. Similar to that, I think what we have now is an opportunity to work with artificial intelligence in a similar way. AI is, as I mentioned, a horizontal technology which will underpin just about every aspect of human life and, again, underpin what needs to happen in governance. But I think for governance, there is a very special opportunity, particularly for a country like India. And the reason for that is very simple. The reason for that is what AI offers is enhanced productivity. What it offers is greater efficiency. What it also means is that there's an opportunity now to enhance the productivity of most people who work in regular white-collar cognitive jobs, which many of us in this room do, all of us in this room do. So in a way, it is a threat to each one of our jobs. But looked at another way, it's an enabler for each one of us. And I think that's possibly the direction in which we really need to take it. And the further point here, and the further issue truly here, is that, say what you will, I don't think any of us, even someone like me or someone like few of my illustrious batchmates who are here in the audience, and who I think look after governance-related and service delivery responsibilities, who have spent more than 35, 36 years in service, I think none of us will, in all honesty, say that the quality of government services are where we want them to be, or they are of an order or of a type which each one of us is happy with. And clearly, I think in my career and across looking at data from various parts of the world, we are not a country which actually is a rice-sized governance structure or a right-sized civil service. We do not have as many policemen as we need. We do not have as many doctors as we need. We do not have as many teachers as we need. We do not have as many nurses as we need. We do not have as many judges as we need. We may have a few too many of certain kind of other government functionaries, but clearly the cutting edge functionaries, those who deliver government services, are not in the required numbers. And therefore, if there is one space where AI can make a significant difference in terms of how it raises the level of governance services, then that is in the government space, and which is why I think this is the space where it is most important, and this is the space where I think we should really use this in a way that truly matters. The second element of AI, which I think will truly make a difference, is the fact that it enables, and there will be one more session. MeitY is represented in this conference by a number of agencies, including Bhashini. The second major element is AI for the first time offers us the opportunity of offering voice-based services, and voice-based services in the language of the people. You know, I mean, we are very fond of saying, we call it the Raj Bhasha or the official language division. You know, governance is always carried out in the language of the rulers, whether it was, you know, Sanskrit, which was spoken by the elite in the ancient times, or whether it was Persian or anything else which was brought in from the other parts of the world, or whether it is English itself, the language we are using primarily for this conference. It's language spoken by the elite, which forms the basis of governance. And in my own experience, I come from the state of Tamil Nadu. I speak Tamil as a native, but if you look at the way administrative Tamil sounds, it's nothing like the way an ordinary person actually speaks. And the same is true for a lot of what you read, even in, letters in Hindi. I was just joking with my batchmate, who's the Home Secretary, that every DO letter that he now writes is in Hindi. which is what they follow. And it takes me about a better part of 5 or 6 minutes to even read through a page and understand what the point he's trying to make is. I mean, the language itself is so difficult and so tough to understand, although I am fairly familiar with Hindi. This is the problem. Common people don't necessarily understand the language in which governance actually happens, even when we adopt an official language. Excuse me, could you kindly not distract the audience? So I think it's important for us to understand that an official language really needs to be language of the people. It needs to be Lok Bhasha and not necessarily Raj Bhasha. And that is the opportunity that today AI offers. Easy translation, speech to speech, speech to text, from a commonly spoken language all the way to any other language that needs to be done. There is a stall here this morning I saw from Nandurbar district in Maharashtra. Yesterday, there was a team which had worked on part of this. It is truly a public-private partnership. So one of the private agencies which worked on actually collecting the language samples in Bhili had come to meet me, and in the way that they had put together that language opportunity in Bhili, Bhashini likewise is working on beyond the 22 languages in the 8th schedule, the other languages which are more commonly spoken in across various districts of the country, and where there aren't enough language samples available online, and how they can be used better. They've done Bhili, now they're doing Gondi and various other languages. Likewise, in the case of Bhashini, they are getting into dialects and languages across different parts of the country. And that is something which would truly help. And especially when we start adopting it in formal proceedings, in court proceedings across the country, that truly makes even justice easily reachable. And likewise, the manner in which we would be able to take care of, citizen queries, and the way in which citizens are able to voice their grievances. The CP Grams stall is also out there. CP Grams is one of the ways in which grievances voiced grievances are easily translated and put into a written form, and then action is taken. Imagine the huge change it makes to a common villager who in the old days would have to find somebody to actually write it out as a petition. And of course, there's a small cottage industry of petition writers who may go out of business, but the facility for common people to actually reach is something which is hugely possible. And the last thing, in the government context, and I don't want to, there's lots of ways in which data and data analytics can take place. That is the most important thing in government. There is so much in terms of a knowledge repository. There's so much which is available in terms of precedent, in terms of our guard files, our stock files, and past information in the way various matters have been handled. The only thing is, we don't have a systematic way to retrieve a lot of that information. It is just carried in somebody's memory, or somebody believes that, okay, there is this precedent, or there was this particular file, there's a reference, you find a footnote and then go looking for where the original reference was, and then try and see whether you can examine the past history and the past knowledge of any matter where a decision is to be taken. That is something now which can become available literally at the press of a button, so that you do take decisions effectively. Sometimes, necessity or ease of doing things becomes the mother of why we decide to do something. I can honestly admit, in MeitY itself, one of the earliest applications of AI was to answer parliament questions. Some smart young scientist had just put all the old replies which had been given for a variety of questions, and then next time around you could just, eventually that's how, because one of the virtues of governance is consistency, and one of the virtues of a donkey is also consistency. So consistency is a virtue in certain instances, and therefore, if whatever else you do, you have to consistently say the same thing to Parliament, because you then don't want to be caught out contradicting yourself. And therefore, these are tools which can actually greatly enhance the productivity of many people in government jobs to make sure that we are able to deliver more effectively. And of course, forgetting about just the delivery of an ordinary job in terms of putting together a note, a report, or a response, more important thing, and which is what AI truly offers in terms of what we can do much better, is how you handle the rest of data which we don't even touch currently. Data which is available but which is rarely looked at, partly because we don't want somebody else to look at it. God knows what skeletons it hides. But more importantly, because there is no means of looking at it. Given the whole volume, and given that we have adopted digital public infrastructure in such a large way, and given that there are so many transactions in government which are digital nowadays, the huge volume of data which can actually be analyzed to support decision making is incredible. I recall a few years ago, we tried to analyze the medical insurance data in the state of Tamil Nadu to look at what are the kind of diseases or what are the kind of conditions for which most claims are coming, which are the areas where the claims are coming from, and which are the hospitals or institutions which are most frequently being used. That data in itself was extremely revealing in terms of what exactly was going on. And this analysis can be carried to multiple levels, and this analysis can be used in a way to have extremely counterintuitive ways of taking decisions. Similarly, if you're looking at, say, GST transactions, and if you're looking at economic hotspots to see where you need to locate various services and how you need to sort of carry out the next stage of your urban development initiatives, clearly engaging with this volume of administrative data which flows through the system is obviously a way to do it. So obviously there are a number of ways in which this can be handled, number of ways in which this data can be handled more effectively. And I can tell you that opening up this data and improving the quality of data governance is clearly the Prime Minister's main priority. There have been at least about 4 or 5 occasions when we have interacted with him when he mentioned it, including as recently as yesterday in the evening. He made a specific point that please address this issue of data governance and make sure that data gets shared more effectively. In fact, now there is a committee which has been nominated by the Cabinet Secretary, which includes Secretary Coordination in the Cabinet Secretariat, Secretary MeitY, and Secretary of MOSPI, the Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, to basically look at ways in which the various data sets in government can be brought together for better analysis. If you look at what is being attempted here in AgriStack, it is fundamentally that. Different databases which are there in the agriculture space, how do you bring it together to actually deliver more personalized output? A similar example we delivered during the AI summit, which was done again at the instance of the Prime Minister, which was the Sadlaben app based on Amul's data of the milk, cattle, and dairy in the areas where they operate, and all the data that they have regarding that and how it can be used better, along with what the weather data is and the soil conditions are and various other elements are, to actually offer specialized care and specialized services for various milch animal. The Prime Minister's point, incidentally, there was that, okay, you can use AI to develop and deliver services to humans. Why don't you try to do it for animals who can't speak and who can't ask you for what they want? At least see if you can look at the data and see what they need and deliver better. I think it was a key insight, which again is very interesting in the way in which technology itself can be leveraged to make governance more inclusive. The last point I'd like to make today is that since many state government representatives and representatives of various ministries are available, under the India AI mission, we are in a position to offer certain common services which all of you can use, whether it is compute, whether it is models. We have now available many Indian-based models which we have promoted. Sarvam, Bharat Gen's models, and in addition, open source models, Gyani's models. All these models have been made available. There are nearly about 307 models. All of Bhashini's models are also made available on the AI Kosh platform. Also data sets. There are more than 12,000 odd data sets which are available and which can be used by innovators and others to really develop more applications. And my request to most to state governments is, if you actually have data sets or models or anything that you want to offer, please do place it on the AI Kosh platform so that it's more widely available and more people can use it. And likewise, it is also a platform on which you can exchange notes on the kind of applications that you've developed. Today we saw in the morning's inaugural the new applications that Rajasthan has developed and launched, and likewise there would be similar experiences across states. As I said in the beginning, today we don't do it centrally through the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. The idea is for many million flowers to bloom, many ideas to come up from across experiments and applications which are tried by various state governments and other agencies, and the effort, and likewise various startups and innovators, and likewise see which are the ones which can be scaled up, which are the ones which can be made most effective. So these, a conference of this nature truly offers us that opportunity to identify what are the applications which can be picked up and which can be scaled up and which can truly be used. And in the AI space, I think that is truly the opportunity which exists. It is a democratized and democratizing technology in some ways. As I said, it was also inclusive. So when it is democratic, there will be a number of ideas which will come up anywhere, and we need to respect all of them, and we need to pick up from there to see how we can take it forward. And that's the last message I have for today. And now I'd invite, in turn, the members of this panel to briefly share their ideas and leave enough time at the end for an exchange of ideas and for an interactive session with the audience. Thank you very much. Yeah? You want to go next? Okay. So now I invite Kavita Bhatia, who is part of MeitY. She's the group coordinator in the ministry, looks after emerging technologies, including AI. She has a brief presentation on AI-based skilling. Yeah.
Good afternoon, and as it has been heard since morning, that AI is fundamentally reshaping economies, governance, and citizens. India's journey. My presentation. Excuse me. Presentation. Yeah. So India's journey in the digital age has been spoken in the morning, that India basically tries to use technology to deliver transformative value and with a focus to reach population scale, and at the fundamental give solutions which are scalable as well as which are citizen-centric. We have already demonstrated this by DPI. We have heard about it from Aadhaar to UPI. We have touched the lives of 1.4 billion population. And now AI is being used as an extension of UPI, extension of DPI. India, as I have shown in this, is rightly positioned to take the advantage of AI innovation, because we have several structural as well as policy advantages, which has brought us to this point. We have robust digital public infrastructure, which is helping us to get a lot of data, as it has been spoken that these are the platforms which are generating huge data sets which are required for AI. Second is technology workforce. We have the largest technology workforce, around 6 million people who are skilled in AI and AI-related technology. Then we have a thriving startup ecosystem, more than 2 lakh startups which are already working in the various domains like cybersecurity, electronics, AI, and they have been strongly supported by various initiatives of Government of India like Startup Innovation, MeitY Startup Hub, as well as Atal Innovation. And lastly, which is also very important, that we have democratized the AI ecosystem, which I'll be talking in the next slide. The growth story of AI is the remarkable, starting from the 7th position in the AI vibrancy rank in 2023. India is now at the 3rd position. This is due to that AI adoption in India in the various domains. This proves that almost AI is being adopted in so many domains that this has led to the position of AI as 3rd, India as 3rd in the ranking. And also it is also projected that by 2027, we will exceed almost $17 billion by use of AI. This basically talks about how India is about the AI powerhouse. We are the AI skill penetration is highest. We are surpassing the US. We have 250% highest growth rate in the AI talent, as well as the best part is that in India, even the highest skill penetration in women is 1.9, which is surpassing the US with about 1.7, which is. And AI innovation is also increasing, which means that we are having huge research coming out, though not very large compared to US and China, but still we have increased to 9.2%, and our year-on-year hiring has also increased in the area of AI by 33%. AI being used as I mentioned, that as the layer about DPI will bring immersive benefits, which is enable digital-driven, data-driven policy, which will enable us to analyze trends, identify gaps, and predict what is the right solution. Also, we will be able to get large-scale social benefit, which means that right solutions to be given to the beneficiaries, which will maximize the benefits of the scheme. And we will be able to plan the resources in a better way, like optimization of energy, better traffic planning, and also the citizens will be able to be a part of these services by giving suggestions, and they will not be only receiving the services, and we will be able to say that one size does not fit all, so we will be able to give services to the citizen which he deserves to. And AI, already by having DPI, we have immersive data in the form of their documents, in the form of voice, image. Now it is the time to utilize them and come up with the government services, better policy planning. Then only we will be able to take the advantage. And we have been hearing this since morning. Some of the state governments have already started using these services, like in the urban governance, Ministry of, Maharashtra government has already started taking this benefit. They have utilized the Zomato and the drivers to capture the pothole and manhole covers. And with that, they have been able to give the corrective actions, and they are able to take the benefits of the AI. In fact, Kerala has also started initiative which is able to curtail the accidents by reducing it to the 60% by using AI and computer vision. Varanasi has started taking the initiative in the garbage dumping. They have been utilizing 500 plus cameras across 80 parts of the Varanasi state, and they have been able to understand which garbage bin is full, and the corrective action has been taken so that the city is clean and clear for the people to travel. Similarly, in the case of agriculture, Krishi Sahayak is being used, which is a voice-based platform, which basically tells the farmer about the kind of dealers available so that they can get to know about the seeds, they can get to know about the other facilities they require. And in fact, if there are some pests and diseases in the farms, they can send the image and they can get the advisories. Yeah, so these, yeah. So they have been using in UP, and almost 23 billion people have been benefited. This is also one of the similar where 4 lakh farmers have been touched, and they have been able to get the discrepancies in the data which currently the databases have. So which means that we are trying to use AI to improve the data and also give the benefit to the citizens. Similarly, many other domains have been using law and justice, where the services have been used in 2500 course, which is reducing the case processing time by 30%, and now it has been rolled out in Kerala and Karnataka. Healthcare, which is also one of the important things, as Secretary Sir also mentioned, that there is a deficit of the doctors, and as per the World Health Organization, 1:1,000 is the ratio of the doctor-patient, but in our country it is more. So these kind of solutions will certainly bring benefits by identifying the diseases at the early stage, and also taking the early decisions to whether the patients are dropping out or not, and making the corrective actions. And this is already being in use in 25 states. The inclusivity, Bhashini, I will not speak much about it, because it is also making the services available in the local dialect, so that the people in the common man can understand and take benefit. Similarly, one of the application which has been recently developed, which is also very simple, but has given benefits to the department, like UPSC, they conduct exams, and this year they have used this 1:1 face recognition, and they have been able to identify out of 8.5 lakh people who have applied, they have been identified 600 people who have actually surpassed the number of attempts, and they will be not allowed to give the exam. So such simple problem statements can be immediately resolved with the help of an AI. There are lots of challenges. The challenges are data, they are silo, they are not integrated. We need to have shareable data. Access to the compute is not available. AI-based models which are trained on Indian data, which is also not there. And the most important is that the right professionals in the department to handle, to develop, deliver, as well as manage the solution. There are a lot of initiatives which are being taken, like India AI, Secretary Sir has mentioned, Bhashini. The most important thing is that as a NEGD, we have already empaneled agencies which can develop the application in AI, as well as can give the right talented people to the department so that they can manage their solutions. And also the productivity tools which will enhance the productivity of the government officials has been already developed. So now is the time that we need to use these technologies and come up with these solutions which are very simple. And I will leave at this slide that now it is the time that we need to identify the solutions, do the prototype, and also if there's a successful prototype developed in any other state, we need to take it and scale it in our state. Other thing is that we need to use the shareable infrastructure which has been created. We need to also make sure that the data which we are having need to be curated for AI, made available, AI ready, and to be shared. And most important, that we need to develop in-house capacity. So already we need to have people who are trained in AI-enabled services, and we need to look for public-private partnership for us to collaborate and develop, and also innovate the problems which we, innovate the solutions for the problem statements which we have. And last, human in the loop is very important. We need to place the guardrails so that the solutions which we create are human-centric and also build the trust of the citizen. So at this point, I would like to stop over here, and this is very important, and we need to start where many of the states have already done some solution. Thank you.
Now could I request Mr. N.S.N. Murty.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. And first of all, Krishnan sir, I think on behalf of all corporates, I think we should thank MeitY, because 5-6 years back, when we all used to go to for any conference or any meeting outside of India, we're all being appreciated for the DPI work, because we get recognized for that. Now, when we go, we are actually getting appreciated about the foundational model, the entire infrastructure being India is putting up for the GPUs as well as on the language part of it. I think corporate takes all the credit right now, because they are in front of most of the other competitors or the fellow people. So thank you for your leadership there. I'm going to a little bit differently talk about this. We know that India has been progressing forward on the AI part of it, but what can be done beyond this? And I want to take one simple word which is been used by the Honorable CM and also the Secretary Sir, is the simplification of the work. How do I simplify a citizen's life is what I think is the most important thing we want to talk about. 3 small stories very quickly. We have a lady who's actually is a person with disabilities. Today, the system needs her to actually go to each and every entity to ask for that. AI still helps her. It's not that AI doesn't help her. AI is systematically helping create more productivity for her. But what do we need for tomorrow is an institutional guardian. AI should work as an institutional guardian, because a PWD is not a PWD from immediately into the system. As soon as a person has been identified with disabilities, the person life journey can be mapped into a system, and all the services can be done. It doesn't require the person to ask for it again and again and again from various sources. So institutional guardian, AI can play that role. It's the simplification of it, because I have seen, and this is called the purple economy part of it, I have seen the person with disability struggling to gain various items of services from different bodies. They do get it today, but I think the system should be more empathetic towards them and giving those at their UK is already doing that. I'm not going to go into details of that. I have about 4 minutes left now. So UK is already doing that. Maybe we can actually pick up a thread from there and use our systems to run this. The second is the life event. It's not just a lady who has lost her husband, but it could be someone else. And what happens? There is no one who actually tells her that where are the financial things. There is a credit or a loan taken by the husband, and you need to repay that. But you have a pension system in which the name is not included. So you need to actually get that naming done. All this thing is today being done individualistically by everyone, but it is not a system which helps her. So what is that for a life event management? AI can be a life management, event management organizer. So I'm trying to simplify, take away from a particular departmental service to a citizen or a user-based narrative. It can be a horizontal across. And there are areas in which the work has been done in the past at various countries. And this is something which we can easily incorporate. And I look at what Krishnan sir said, that about the integration of the data or aggregation of these data sets. That will be the foundational layer for getting these services up and running. Last one, but not the least, a farmer. As soon as I say a farmer, a male comes to your mind, right? It's usually a lot of females who are farmer. They are into the farming. What is that she needs in terms of crisis, in terms of a disaster, in terms of a weather change, in terms of climate change? What is that? Can't it be actually provided to her well in advance? Today, there are systems which are built by various organizations, including Google, IBM, and others, which actually gives you a prediction of various things. But that actually tells you that the rain is going to happen after 5 days or not going to happen this month. But that doesn't integrate into the rest of the services which needs to be provided. Again, anticipatory services to the citizen based on the AI, able to actually integrate all the data points. I don't know how much you were able to hear, but the last one, I think this is all I have to share. The only two things which I want to leave it with you is AI is like an Excel sheet for you. You will not use 95% of the formulas, the part of the Excel sheet. But I think if you do not use it, you will actually lose out on the productivity, efficiency, and simplification of your life. So AI, the part one is, please use it like an Excel sheet. Try and do work on the AI, integrate everything, get all the data, put all the diagrams, charts, and everything, but also try to incorporate in your daily life. The second part of it is, you will get the formulas in the Excel wrong. AI is not going to help you in becoming successful on day one. You have to do 100 pilots to actually get 4 right, or 3 right, or even 1 right. But I think AI learning and incorporation that into the processes and the services is extremely important. Foundational layer has been already in place. What we need is a collaborative effort of the ecosystem, corporates, philanthropic agencies, think tanks, and the government, both state and central, to work together on this. Thank you so much for hearing me.
Thank you, Shri Murty. Now I'd request Shri Arnav Kapur, Deputy Director, Policy Communications and Philanthropic Partnerships at the Gates Foundation.
Okay. Firstly, thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. We know we are standing between now and lunch, so I hope we'll get your full attention for this very critical, important session. Thanks to Secretary Sir for laying out the vision and the leadership that the India AI mission and MeitY has shown to the world. I think the model that India is offering to the world of compute is very unique, and I think it's the leadership and the vision of the Prime Minister and the entire department and MeitY who've come up with that, and we are seeing many sovereign models also come out. I'll talk about 10 points today and try to be very brief so that we can also have an interactive session. Before I start, I think I'll just make 2 or 3 points. We have lived through many changes. This is 29th e-governance conference. In the last 29 years, we have seen multiple changes in technologies happen in the country and in the world. But we've evolved with that. Nothing has been like this though. I think AI is different. Technology is moving faster. OpenAI came only 4 years back, and now almost everyone is using it across the world. India is the largest AI use case capital of the world. Some people are worried. What will happen? What will be the implications? Some are excited. And we understand where both come from. I'm in the camp of Secretary Sir that this artificial intelligence technology will actually enable, create efficiency, increase speed, and actually improve life of every citizen and every one of us in this room. It could be the biggest equalizer in history, but we will have to make sure that we do it together and we make sure it's anchored on social good and for all. I just run through a few slides, on how we are working on AI, how we are working with the government, both central and various state governments. So where AI helps most from our perspective, 3 areas we are working on. One is on health and nutrition, second is on agriculture and livelihoods, and third being on education. On health, diagnostics, surveillance, decision support, portion tracker that many of the Anganwadi workers used. AI is being now integrated in all of those technologies. Sir spoke about, ma'am spoke about TB. The number of AI-based X-rays and the number of screenings we can do at a much higher frequency is helping us to screen many more people that would have taken many more hours before can happen in a very short time. And it's directly linked with India trying to eliminate TB before its actual elimination date. On agriculture livelihoods, in Rajasthan, there is Raj Kisan, which Honorable CM spoke about. There is also in Maharashtra, Mahavistar. And in the budget, we heard about Bharat Vistar also coming in. The idea is to share information with farmers so that they can sow the right seed, sow it at the right time, and prepare for harvest, and also sell it at the right time in the market. And third, on education, I think personalized education, increasing oral reading fluency of our students, improving the learning outcomes will be very critical. But there are 3 important points I want to call out. We need to look at adoption to inclusion. One is on access. Can everyone reach it? It's critical that everyone has access to AI. There are various challenges to get there, but I think the government and everyone in the industry is moving towards making sure that everyone has access. Second, of any technology that we use, whether it's UPI, whether it's ChatGPT, or whether we use DigiYatra, trust is very critical. What will happen to our data? We all worry about frauds all the time. So I think the way we are conceptualizing the entire AI stack, trust will be one of the bedrocks, and we need to make sure that we keep anchored on that. Third is around capacity. And ma'am spoke about from a compute perspective, how we're building capacity in the country, but also from an institutionalization capacity across working with everyone in the various AI missions at the state level. 3, I think to close these 3 gaps, we're looking at inclusive by design. Very, very critical that the design itself from the beginning is inclusive and not of an afterthought, because if we don't prepare for it earlier, it will lead to various implications further down the road. Built on public infrastructure, India has built one of the most fantastic and standing out infrastructures of DPI in the world. G20 was one of the big moments where Honorable Prime Minister announced of sharing DPI also with the world. And we've been working with MeitY, with MEA, to help support that vision of diffusion in multiple countries. And many countries, both in the global south, are actually picking up and learning from India's DPI stack. Third is around trustworthy and safe. I spoke about many of these points before, but the India AI Safety Institute at MeitY will also be a very, very critical player to help close these three gaps. This is a busy slide, but I'll just try to outline that there are multiple stacks that we look at. The idea is that for each of these stacks, it's built from an inclusive perspective, and sovereignty is built into each of those. Last night, if you have read the news, Mythos has been opened up now for everyone across many markets. It was controlled by the US government. And I think as more and more of these versions come out, it is important, that we build our own sovereign models, not only at the LLM perspective, at large language learning models, but also across the entire stack is very critical. MeitY is playing a critical role, and we've been enabling both BharatGen, Sarvam, to enable that LLMs are anchored from India, and will be important. And we are also happy to work with Sarvam on agriculture to start with. And I think there'll be more and more that we will see come out as we go along. 4 points. I think many of these principles are already at work. I won't outline, but many states are leading this exercise. You have Sanjeevani in Andhra Pradesh. You have the Mahila Sahayak in Bihar. You have the Sushashan Sahayak in Odisha, the Mahavistar in Maharashtra, working across many of the use cases. And we are happy to support the Mahavistar in Maharashtra, and now it being also being scaled at a national level. And other states, including Odisha, AP, are also building out their own Vistar programs, which I think is going to be more critical because agriculture has been the bedrock of our economy, and large parts of female labor force are actually working in agriculture. How are we working in these areas? I'll just say 3 points. We are looking at scaling AI innovation in our priority areas, which is on agriculture, health, and education, providing technical support and capital, and strengthening the domestic AI ecosystem. We are honored to work with India AI Mission, with whom we have an MOU with. We've been engaging with MeitY, with NITI Aayog, the Frontier Tech Hub, with Devjani, and we're also supporting the AI Commons platform, which is helping build a repository which can help diffuse many of these use cases, not only in the country to many states, but also in the global south. Some of the partners that we've supported is on, for example, Cure.ai on TB X-rays, Ocean Tracker with the Ministry of WCD. You have the voice scribe, which should become more and more critical as we go forward. The oral reading fluency is something which we work with Rajasthan government. And to simply put out oral reading fluency is, how can a student read a passage accurately? How can read at an appropriate speed and at the right expression? And I think one of the strongest indicators of child learning and foundational learning is ability to speak clearly. Rajasthan embedded, AI-enabled ORF into the Prakhar Rajasthan literacy program. About 3.5 million children were assessed. But not only assessment, Rajasthan government went beyond that, and they used the results to group these students into 4 different categories, and then also provide personal remediation to each of those. So I think it's the Rajasthan government has been one of the leading in the forefronts, and we are now taking some of these learnings from this model to other states also. States are becoming owners of AI. We heard about the Rajasthan AI policy. There is a Maharashtra AI policy. Telangana has its own AI policy. Odisha has also come up with the Odisha AI mission, and we are happy to support and partner with many of the governments. I'll leave with the last slide that as the vision of the Honorable Prime Minister, what India builds, it shares. We are very, very happy to support and glad to support at the AI Impact Summit, the launch of the Global Impact AI Commons, not just with state governments, but also with the countries in the global south. About 100 use cases are already on this platform. 100 pathways for diffusion by 2030. It's a vision that many of the people from the industry also laid out, and to partner with the government. So Step, UNDP, World Bank, and others are trying to come into an effort where we can help diffuse use cases from India to other markets across the world. And last, partnering with scaling hubs. We set up 4 scaling hubs in Africa, in 4 countries. And we're partnering with Vadvani AI as one of the partners to take some of the learnings, and with MeitY to work with these scaling hubs and share these learnings, with the African countries. And it's a direct effort, and Africa is quite open to learning on many of these things from India. The language is one big piece, which is on Bhashini, but also for our TV program, which is the e-Nikshay program. Kenyan government has a TI-Biju program, and they're directly taking learnings from the TV work on AI into their own program, and we're happy to support that overall. I just close with this side of, we need to make sure that we're anchoring our AI work in the public purpose. We are governing it for every citizen, and we're building it together. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I think you did half the work for MeitY there as well, in addition to the Gates Foundation. Thank you for that as well. Now I request Shri Pradeep Singh, Program Director and Advisor in NITI, who also looks after, amongst many other responsibilities, IT and telecom.
Thank you, sir. So I have benefit of being last speaker, so I will not repeat many things. And in the interest of time, I will be very brief. But one thing at the very outset, I want to underline that India is at a critical juncture where we have a huge opportunity. Huge opportunity because of availability of AI and also because our population is so young. Between 15 and 24 years, our children are, we have about 40 crore boys and girls there who are actively engaged in AI. And at the same time, we also have a great divide between urban and rural usage. And therefore, the challenge of democratizing the AI, which our earlier speakers have talked about, and you must have seen all in the presentations, a lot of effort is going on in that direction. In fact, the India AI Mission and National Education Policy 2020, thank you. 2020 provides that good framework where we can actually achieve this democratization. So just a quick recap, the last quarter century for India's digital governance journey has been remarkable. E-governance plan in 2000, then Digital India Mission, AI for All, NITI Aayog report in 2018 and 2024 India AI Mission. And now we have this Manav framework for Viksit Bharat, which is basically for humane AI usage. And NITI Aayog has been pioneering this, has been helping this journey in a great way. 2018, the National Strategy for AI, and 3-part series was published by NITI Aayog, Responsible AI series. And of course, the India AI Mission launched. And then 2 more reports in 2025 regarding AI for Viksit Bharat Roadmap and AI for Inclusive Societal Development. So these reports provide a framework, and therefore we see a lot of policy documents from the state, at the state government level on the different aspects of digital governance and AI-enabled governance. And in fact, at NITI Aayog, we have a Frontier Tech Hub, which has specific mandate, basically, to help India to anticipate the technological shifts platform. In fact, anticipate, accelerate, and act. This is the motto, so that we are not only adapters, but we are actually leaders in this space. Many initiatives by this division, which has come up only a few years back, the Viksit Bharat Roadmap, Frontier 50 initiative in aspirational blocks, Frontier Tech Repository, the earlier speakers talked about various use cases which has been actually solved by our entrepreneurs, our administrators, and these case studies are kept in the repository so that they can serve template for others. Then AI Data Center Workshop, where we looked at the land, power, network, compute, and talent requirements which will be required if we want, if at all we want to take India to a 8 trillion economy by 2057. Tech services reimagination for our startups, 10-year roadmap where the current AI market ecosystem can be multiplied at least 10 times. And human-centric tech work stream for, especially for health, agriculture, education, for inclusive growth. So these are the activities at NITI Aayog. And in fact, why I want to present this slide is because we have startups, administrators, policymakers from the state government. So this facility is available for all. Please reach out to us. Other slides, I think this Manav framework, you are well aware. We know that AI is not an option. We have a huge population to serve, myriads of schemes in silos, and we have to break all those barriers. And AI is actually a great equalizer. It has unique opportunity for making available this quality education to the most marginalized, most remote areas that is possible today. But if we miss this, so it can also be a source of great disparity. So we can achieve unprecedented reduction in educational inequality, accelerate growth, improve the efficiency of our workforce. The informal sector, which is about, let's say, 30 crores people are in that sector. Can we, what would be the solutions we saw? So those are the target areas where if we, effort is already there. And in fact, I see it very positive that we will have a future where AI, as it was pointed out by the secretary, that AI will be there in every field, every form of activity, economic activity, welfare activity. And in fact, it will be a huge tool for us to take India forward and realize the vision of 2047. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I thank all the participants for having, all the panelists for having been very time conscious. So I think, how much time do we have for a Q&A? Time is already done? I thought it was a 1 hour and 20 minute. If there are questions, we'll take some, but if you're done, you're done. You have 5 minutes. Okay. So I thought you had 5 questions, Sarita, but if you do, you can come up with it. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Gandharva, sir, 2016 batch IS officer, Himachal Pradesh, sir. So my question is there any initiative from the side of the Government of India with regard to developing a sovereign-owned AI assistant? For instance, sir, currently I'm posted as district collector, sir. So whatever, sir, PUC or letters come, we can see that they have been drafted on private AI tools. And a lot of confidential information, that means, and data is being revealed to private AI tools by our clerks and our assistants and us as well, sir. So how can we, sir, protect ourselves? There's no policy of the government as such right now to not feed this data, number one. And number two, sir, is there anything that can be done at the Government of India level where administrators and departments can be assisted in taking, in delivering routine administrative functions like drafting letters, policy interpretation through the use of an AI assistant, which is secure as well? Okay. Thank you.
So I'll come to that. Maybe we'll take 2 or 3 questions if there are any more, and then try and answer them all together. Yes, please.
Sir, I'm Dhruv Sengupta. I'm Joint Secretary with the Department of Pensions. My one observation has been all throughout wherever we are engaging with sharing of databases is that the credibility and the purity of data which is being shared becomes an issue. And if you drive a AI tool over a database which has impurities. So my question is that, is there a serious thought going on in the Government of India towards developing a very formidable protocol for at least prospective, design of databases? Because if the whole of government approach is to be followed on an AI-based approach, which we are trying to do in pensions, the data purity has been a very, very great challenge in the past also. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So let's take these 2 questions and probably with some supplementation from Kavita later. Your question on, are we setting up something which can be used by the government itself? Yes, we are. We are in the process. I think we are at a fairly advanced stage. Whether we'll have enough compute capacity to make it available across all the way to the districts is something we'll have to see. What we are doing, and this is for use within government, is to make sure that there is a secure and there is a ring-fenced compute facility, which has certain vetted models which are loaded. And we are then able to use it for purposes for use within government. This should be launched shortly. How quickly we'll be able to extend it for wider use is something we'll have to see, because currently the availability of compute is always a challenge, and it's a challenge not just in India but across the world. So if we sort of take up more of it for within government use, then we can't offer enough of it for innovators and, the people who are building out models and for training. So that is the basis on which we are operating currently. There have been requests, incidentally, and suggestions to government saying that we should block access to certain types of models. But the advice that I can give you is that if you're using an open source model which is hosted within India, then you're by and large safe. Open source, open weight model. If you're using it on an app, then you are training the model, and I think you don't need a separate rule to tell you that you don't share confidential data in a way that you shouldn't be sharing it. So I think that is one advice, but we should have something which will be operational, and once it's operational, we'll be able to expand it further. Also, to set up a sovereign AI capacity, there's work on that aspect. The second important aspect is on, data purity. I think it's a very relevant and important point, and that actually leads to part of the reluctance to share the data also, because we are not confident of its veracity. But one of the big opportunities there, looked at differently, and that's one of the things we do under the AI mission, is to annotate and improve the quality of the data, to make sure that data quality itself is improved. That, in fact, is literally an employment opportunity which it promotes. So these 127 data labs which we have promoted across various institutions in the country, those are meant primarily for people who have just passed a class 12 examination. It teaches people how you actually annotate and improve the quality of data so that you're able to share it. Having said that, I think there's another important point to note, which is that in the old days, we collected a lot of data, actively went out and collected, and some of it got reported wrong. Some of it was administratively reported data saying, I have built so many toilets, or I've put up so many streetlights, some of which may not be very accurate for various reasons of reporting constraints. But increasingly, a lot of the databases we have are actually transactional databases, where you're just capturing the history of the transactions. And so when you're doing that, the chances of going wrong are less. I mean, if you looked at something like the GSTN database, clearly it just is a set of transactions. If there is somebody who's filing a wrong return and that's deliberate, there's a system which catches it. But what is there in terms of the tax paid and what is assessed is a fair reflection of where things stand. So in that sense, when you look at transactional databases, then you should be able to sort of find data without too many errors or too many mistakes. So I think that is a significant opportunity which we should not let go of. And the reluctance, I mean, we'll have to see what is the difficulty in sharing data and why we can't share it. And the reluctance to share data is something we have to let go of. I think that is something which we have to. One of the problems, of course, is we are very much in the public eye, and you can analyze data in myriad different ways, and some of the analysis could throw up things which is a little unflattering. And that we are reluctant in today's instantly judgmental world to share. I mean, I fully understand the reluctance in that sense, but I think we have to overcome it. We have to sort of figure out that the benefits of sharing it are far greater than what we lose in terms of a very short-term issue. And people who know how to dress up data know also how to dress up the consequences when it comes out. So I'm sure they'll be able to figure it out. Is there anything you want to add? Okay. Yeah, please.
Thanks. Just to build on, sir, I think your name was Gandharv, if I got it right. So there is one example in Odisha of Sushashan Sahayak, which is trying to working to document, reference, summarize all of the various orders that come out to help as an assistant and create more ease of work for all of our officers, so that it frees up time to do more productive things. That is one. I think to other point which Sir had made, and it's an opportunity, and we understand that MeitY, under the leadership of Secretary Sir, is working to create a data harmonization to make sure that all these stacks, all these various data layers can speak to each other. But I think, as Sir said, more needs to be done. And if they will throw out various points, but also what would be out public, what would be kept inside, I think is a decision for the government. But there's a huge opportunity, and a lot of work is happening in that space by MeitY itself. And I think there will be more use cases which might be coming out from there. Thanks.
Okay, are we done? We're done. Okay, just one last. Oh, there are a couple of questions. Please. I mean, I'm in your hands, Srinivas. We can take a couple more. Okay.
Sir, myself, Dr. Tushava Shinde, sir, Director. Sir, I would like to ask two things, sir. Now we are having the more than crores in the Supreme Court cases, sir. And crores of grievances are there, sir. The grievances are coming, but we are manually trying to dispose it, sir. It's taking a lot of time. And can we use the AI to give the judgments? Because by that way, we can resolve in the faster way. Because this is the AI world, sir. My question is for all.
Yeah. Okay. You had another question.
Namaskar, sir. Myself, Neeraj Sharma. I am from Third Power, Ministry of Power. So, sir, just in view of the recent threats from the MeitY-like frontier models, AI models, and since I am in the cybersecurity domain of the power sector, so just want to know whether Government of India is thinking about developing its own domestic frontier AI model of global standards, so as to use AI in countering the ill effects of AI. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now, I'll attempt an answer and you can supplement. Your issue on the courts, and I think there are two parts to this. One, yes, certainly. And the courts are already seized in this. In the presentation she made, she mentioned how it is being used in the Kerala High Court and a couple of others. There is a Supreme Court committee which is headed by Justice P.S. Narasimha, which is actually looking at ways in which AI can be used to assist the courts themselves. There are other judges who pointed out definitely two high volume cases where using AI can really help. One is these famous, that 138, section 138 of the Negotiable Instruments Act, the check bounce cases, where they are of a fairly standardized and routinized type, and also MACT cases, motor accidents claim tribunals, where again it's a fairly standardized formula in terms of what needs to be paid out. And in both of these cases, I think the applications are going on, and both of these are heavy volume cases where quick disposal will certainly help the affected parties. So yes, certainly there's an opportunity. But the one caveat I would add is that at no stage should you leave humans out of the loop. I mean, this is at best an aid, and the human in the loop is extremely important and cannot be overemphasized. I think this is something that we should be aware of at all times, which is why I think in some ways one of the easiest spaces in India where AI can be used is actually the governance space, and where the outcomes would probably be, very, very significant for what is happening. The other question on mythos and what is happening with that, two parts of that answer. One is that we are already doing some testing, and we are supporting the Ministry of Power as well in a sandboxed environment for vulnerabilities using existing models, including some Indian models and including other open source models to which there's access in a sandboxed environment, so that we are able to identify and patch as many as possible. Mythos may be 100%. The other models may be between 60 and 70%, but at least you get that much protection. And as he was pointing out, we rarely use all the features which are available in our mobile phone or in an Excel spreadsheet. So it's useful to try and get as much out of usable models as is possible. Second part of that question, yes, we are working on upgrading some of the models that we are building. That is an ongoing process. India mission is already supporting 20 different types of models. A few of them are LLMs, large language models, including the one which Sarvam is making, and Sarvam is also getting funding from private sources, and the one that BharatGen is making in IIT Bombay, which is almost entirely government funded. So both of those have also been tasked with looking at this capability of, looking at codes, computer codes, to see whether they really work. I think what that also underlines is that I think finally there's a recognition that AI regulation needs to come firmly onto the agenda. And I think that's something the US actions have also proved, that whichever way you look at it, when you restrict access, then you are regulating. And the people who most strongly opposed regulation of AI about less than a year ago, or even 5-6 months ago, are now actually regulating it. So it sort of puts us in a place where you have to start looking at the regulation issue very seriously. Anything else would you like to say?
धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। 29वें राष्ट्रीय ई गवर्नेंस सम्मेलन के प्रथम प्लेनरी सत्र में आप सबका ये मार्गदर्शन और आज के समारोह के, आज के सेशन की यादें बहुत लंबे समय तक आपके जहन में, आपकी स्मृतियों में रहें, उसके लिए अनुरोध करना चाहेंगे कमिश्नर आईटी डिपार्टमेंट हिमांशु गुप्ता जी से। आप पधारें। और इस सेशन को चेयर कर रहे थे श्री एस कृष्णन जी, सेक्रेटरी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स एंड इंफॉर्मेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, भारत सरकार। आपको स्मृति चिन्ह, बहुत लंबे समय तक आज की कॉन्फ्रेंस की यादें आपके पास रहें, ये छोटा सा स्मृति चिन्ह है। आपसे पुनः अनुरोध सुश्री कविता भाटिया जी, साइंटिस्ट जी और ग्रुप कोऑर्डिनेटर एआई एंड इमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज, आपको भी ये स्मृति चिन्ह भेंट करेंगे। इस सेशन में हमारे साथ थे श्री अर्नव कपूर, डेप्यूटी डायरेक्टर पॉलिसी कम्युनिकेशंस एंड फिलेंथ्रोपिक पार्टनरशिप्स, गेट्स फाउंडेशन। श्री N.S.N. Murty, Government and Public Services Consulting Leader, Deloitte. Shri Pradeep Singh, Program Director and Advisor, Green Transition, Climate and Environment, IT and Telecom, NITI Aayog. आप सभी विशिष्ट वक्ताओं का इस महत्वपूर्ण सत्र में गरिमामय उपस्थिति के लिए बहुत बहुत आभार। एक छोटा सा समूह छाया चित्र हम आपसे चाहेंगे। फोटोग्राफर्स, आपसे निवेदन, आइए एक समूह छाया चित्र हम अपने इस सेशन, प्लेनरी सेशन का ये प्रथम सत्र, एआई बेस्ड गवर्नेंस फॉर ऑल। बहुत बहुत आभार, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और आप सभी से अनुरोध, आप सब भोजन के लिए आमंत्रित हैं और केवल 30 मिनट के बाद अगला सेशन